My best friend has never read a book in his entire life, and I hadn't either until like 5 years ago, which is weird because I grew up surrounded by books. I just got all of these from my brother's room right now, and this isn't even all of them. Yet for a long time, I hated reading. My siblings tried to convince me, but I just wouldn't read anything. But why? Why does no one read books anymore, and what can we do about it? To figure it out, I read a few books, talked to some people, and turned my best friend into a bookworm. Spoiler alert, it's not because of TikTok.
Have you really never ever read a book before?
Yes.
Why?
I tried, but like it wasn't interesting to me, so I just left it, and I just maybe felt like reading wasn't something for me.
Honestly, I can relate. I know I look and sound like a geek that has been obsessed with reading all my life. But the truth is, the first time I read a book, I was already old enough to drink. My older siblings had stacks of books from authors like Dan Brown, Francis Rivers, and Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and they always tried to encourage me to read, but I just found the books big and boring. I would have rather stared at paint dry than read a book. But eventually, something changed, and even though I still don't read as many books as I would like, I can say without a shadow of doubt that when I get the chance to, I like reading. Unfortunately though, I can't remember what changed and how I suddenly started reading, which means I don't know how to help Emeka. Yes, me and my best friend have the same first name. We also have the same second name. Weird coincidence, I know. So if I'm going to turn him into a reader, I need to call in some help.
Read what you want to read. My name is Paula Sinovi. I'm a human being and I like to read books.
What advice would you give to people who are trying to get into reading?
So there are some people that, okay, when they want to get into reading, you will now look for, books that talk about, how to build up your life in 7 steps, how to go from grass to grace. This one, so, like those things are deep, right? But if you're not really enjoying a book, the book is not going to do what the book is supposed to do.
Yes.
So after speaking with Paula and doing some more research, I think I've finally come up with a plan that should work.
Hey there, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary folks, and welcome to our new game show, Let's Get Reading. On this game show, we bring contestants from all around the world who want to start reading or just get out of a reading slump, and we help them to finally achieve their dreams. On this episode, we have our first and last ever contestant, Emeka. So, my plan consists of 3 main steps. First, we have to find a book on a topic he's already interested in, so no Dan Brown or George Orwell here. Next, we have to give him options. Even after picking a book on a topic he's interested in, we don't want him to feel stuck with the book he has chosen. And so we want to give him options, so he can read the first chapter of a book, and if he doesn't like it, he can just drop it and pick another one. Third, he needs to commit 30 minutes a day to reading. This can be 15 minutes in the morning or 15 minutes in the evening or just one 30-minute stretch. It's totally up to him. And then as a bonus, both of the books we give him will be short so he can quickly go through them and get the satisfaction of finally finishing a book, which will give him the push he needs to continue even after the challenge. With all that said, it's time to reveal the 2 books. Drum rolls, please! I Think Therefore I Play by Andrea Pello and Still Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. I Think Therefore I Play is a funny yet emotional autobiography of Andrea Pello, one of the greatest midfield maestros of all time. The book is about his experience as a professional footballer, and I think this is going to be super interesting for Emeka because he's obsessed with football. Chelsea for life, by the way. Yes, we also support the same football club. The second book is Still Like an Artist. As a drummer, producer, fashion designer, Emeka is a very creative person, and Still Like an Artist is a book I think every creative person should read at least once. Also, can I just say that one of my biggest pet peeves is people who use creative as a noun, like I am a creative. No, you're not a creative. Creative is an adjective. You can be creative, but you're not a creative. Okay, rant over. I made an entire video on Still Like an Artist. If you want, just check that out in the link in the description, just under the like button. So now that we know what our plan is, let's go give it to our contestant.
Although we've hopefully figured out how to get more people to read books, we'll see how the challenge goes. We still haven't answered the main question of this video. Why doesn't anyone read books anymore? To try to figure that out, I spent the next 5 days reading articles, scientific papers, watching videos, and I still couldn't find anything, or at least anything satisfactory. I found articles talking about how we have a shortened attention span because of social media. But in reality, TikTok has actually done a lot more good for our reading culture than bad. Since the start of the pandemic, there has been a steady increase in book sales, and the publishing industry experts have attributed this growth to BookTok. The New York Times even called BookTok a best-selling machine. So if it's not our shrinking attention spans, then what is it?
Another thing I saw pop up a lot in my research is that people don't read because we just don't have enough free time. And honestly, this is one that I strongly agree with. Not everyone has 10 to 15 hours per month to spend on something that doesn't give them any income, especially when they might have other hobbies and interests that take far less time than reading. But even though I agree with this, I still don't think it answers our question. Sure, it might explain why reading for pleasure is on a decline on a societal scale and why people who used to read books when they were younger don't read books anymore, but it still doesn't explain why I grew up surrounded by books and was never interested in picking one up, or why Emeka lived all his life without having any interest in reading, even though his sister loves it. We might not have the time now, but we were both once teenagers with all the free time in the world, and we still weren't interested. Sure, I thought it was boring and would rather watch TV or even listen to the radio, but the truth is, I never even tried reading a book to find out if it was actually boring or not. Why? Why was I so against reading when the science is clear on how reading improves your brain? In this study, Shinya Uchida and Ryuta Kawashima concluded that reading and basic arithmetic helped to improve the cognitive function of both the young and the elderly. Research also shows that reading fiction helps to improve theory of mind, which is the ability to understand other people's mental state. When we read fiction, we gain a unique access into a character's subjective experience that allows us to better understand what other people go through. This entire channel is about exploring ideas that can improve your life, and I can say for a fact that reading is one of them. But thinking about it, many of us already know that reading is good for us. I'm pretty sure we're all taught the benefits of reading and comprehension in secondary school, yet we still don't take the time to read. The moment I wrote those words down, it hit me. It all started to make sense. The reason I wasn't interested in reading for pleasure when I was younger is because school taught me to see reading as a means to an end, and not something that could be enjoyed for its own sake. And since my siblings weren't handing out A's for reading classics, I just never saw the point. School also didn't give us a choice on what we could read. We were forced to read things, and it didn't matter if we found them interesting or not, which is why I never thought reading a book could be enjoyable. The only experience I had with it was reading Midsummer's Night Dream and not understanding a single thing and not being able to put it down. The reason I read now is not because I'm trying to improve my brain health or get any direct benefits. I read because I enjoy getting lost in a good story. And then I talk to other book lovers and I realize that the reason is pretty much the same.
I don't know. I guess it's just fun to read. To read and to imagine scenarios in your head.
It's not cliche when people say books will take you everywhere. I feel like every time that I open a book, I visit so many countries, so many people, so many cultures, and just learn so much that I ordinarily would not.
Reading is a nice thing. I feel like the word reading has a nice ring to it in the first place. I know when you hear, oh, this person reads, it gives this extra show, that extra razzle dazzle that the thing gives.
I love reading because it's mostly fun. Mostly because reading school books, that was not fun at all.
With reading, I'm literally watching a movie inside my head. Like, I can literally see exactly how Sandy would look like, exactly how Mark looks.
I get to use my imagination, like the power of your imagination. Compared to movies have like the visuals and then the sound, you just have to watch. But for movies, I get to work, like my brain, my head, my imagination becomes so creative. I get to build the characters the way I want. Like, I get to do everything in my head, which is the best part. That's the best part of reading books.
So imagine living, like going away from your regular boring life and immersing yourself in this world where there are talking toys that are not trying to kill you, and gnomes, elves, fairies, all the creatures.
I love reading because it is a form of escape. It is a way to live many lives, most of which are more comforting than mine.
Reading is just like, it's really, really good. It's really, really beautiful. I don't think I would have survived my childhood if I wasn't an avid reader.
I finally remembered how I read my first book, by the way. I was done with school, I didn't have a phone at the time, and I was bored out of my mind. With nothing to do, my siblings tried to encourage me to read, but I just wasn't interested. I would rather listen to the radio or just stare out the window. Then one day,
My sister read the first chapter of Purple Hibiscus aloud to me. The story was so captivating that I wanted to know more. So after she left, I acted like it didn't work. I'm the last one. Of course, I can't let my siblings know that they influenced me in any way. When I saw the coast was clear, I picked up the book and I read the whole thing. Today, I've read pretty much everything Chimamanda has ever written. Sure, reading can improve your life in tremendous ways, but at the core of it, it's just really nice. And it's sad that many people will never experience it because of the way we were introduced to it. Big, boring, and only necessary to get good grades.
Those are the 2 books I gave you, Abi.
Yeah,
Which one did you end up reading?
this one.
That is
I think therefore I play.
why.
So, having a book that, gives you an idea of how a footballer thinks, his mind, his day-to-day life, everything. Come on, that's something I've always wanted.
If you haven't read a book before, I would really encourage you to try. There's a world of amazing stories that you're missing out on. And the best part is there's a book for everyone, no matter what your interests are. Find a book on a topic that you really love and give it a try, and you just might fall in love. And if you've been trying to get someone else to read, try doing what my sister did and reading the first chapter to them. If the story is good enough, they'll read the rest of the book and many more by themselves.
You're around 44% through the book.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
Pretty much halfway through the book.
Yeah.
So can I call you a bookworm now?
Let's see how things go. But yeah, I think I would want to be able to read something every day. Yeah, I feel like that helps. That shows that I'm getting serious with my life, that kind of thing.
So
So
we can say this challenge was successful.
yeah, it was successful.
Hey guys, so I'm just finishing up with the edit, and I just thought I'll jump on here and say, first of all, if you watch this far, thank you very, very much. I'm trying to make videos as often as I can, but with a full-time job and other responsibilities, it's not that easy. But if you enjoyed this video, the best thing you can do is to share this to other people. If you know someone that you've been trying to get into reading, please share this to them. And yeah, just thank you very, very much for watching, and thank you to everyone who participated in this video in some way. I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you.